Requirements for doing live videos. What does that even mean? Does that mean like if you're not like YouTube and you don't have at least 60 or 1,000 followers, you can't go live? I think it does, baby. They're saying they're changing the requirements. Hey guys, I am on the guitar today and I wanted to share with you guys something that I've been working on. One song. One song.
I leave it to that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That's a song I've been working on called Ghost Dance. I wrote the poem in 2019. So I've been working on getting some of those small hand muscles down for playing my favorite tuning on the guitar, D major. So thank you so much for joining me in my little music section of this year's summer success plan, which is June and July, getting ready for the yoga competition in September, which I'm trying to motivate myself for. And also getting schoolwork done. New Lane University is going to help me fast track my bachelor's degree so that I can start applying for jobs with the Red Cross, Red Crescent movement to fulfill the next step in what is now in the last phase of my nonprofit startup, which you guys might have heard me talking about this 10 years ago. Well, it's happening now. It's pretty much happening now. It's the Grand Initiative, So the Grand Initiative is going to be my biggest international mission yet, which is going to be partnered with the Red Cross. And I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but this was looking like this is how it's going to be. And the goal is to, and I'm sure you guys will remember me talking about this if you have been following me for this long, but one, reducing carbon emissions by 2030 in Guatemala. So helping the world reduce carbon emissions and plastic waste by 2030, and specifically doing that by donating a fleet of vehicles to Guatemala. So that is the dream, literally a dream that I had that I would like to manifest into reality. But the Grand Initiative is really exciting because on top of doing this philanthropy work and charity work for reducing carbon emissions and plastic waste in the environment and in Guatemala, I would like to work with the Red Crescent in helping the establishment of a humanitarian aid corridor in Palestine through the Red Cross, Red Crescent movement. So this Grand Initiative, in my opinion, is really inspired by the studies that I took in regards to the genocide that took place in Guatemala. So Latino studies is specifically my forte. It's what I studied mostly in college and university. And so I believe that what the Palestinian people are experiencing right now, this genocide that's happening really honestly around the world in areas that are the most vulnerable and underrepresented, I believe that the memory that our people have of the Mayan people and Guatemalans alike, and Hispanics who, had to leave dictator regimes such as Pinochet in Chile, for instance, or if you had family that was in Cuba during Castro's administration. So I believe that the Latino community has a lot to offer the Palestinian people when it comes to support and aid during this very hard transition into a two-state solution. And I think that establishing a humanitarian aid corridor with environmental climate change in mind, with humanitarian rights in mind, is the way to do that. And that humanitarian corridor is establishing itself not only in Rafah on the Egyptian side, but on the Israeli side as well. So one of my goals in life is to become an international diplomatic ambassador for world peace. So that means making friends on all sides, going into Israel, learning what is the mindset there, and then taking what I learned there with the languages that I learned and transferring that into my work in Palestine and trying to build relations from the grassroots ground up from Israel and Palestine. So that's a big step, right? And you're gonna be like, Camila, are you even ready for that? Do you even know what that means? Yes, I know what it means. No, I'm not ready for it. So that's why all my studies right now are getting me ready to do my first job deployment with American Red Cross. That means going somewhere in the world. It could be Ukraine, it could be in Africa, it could be here in the United States, but doing a mission project with the Red Cross where I get field experience in a disaster site, human crisis disaster site. And I need a bachelor's for that. So instead of focusing on the biophysics degree right now with the University of Houston, which I love because of, which I wanted to complete because of my fascination with astronomy, I'm going to go ahead and fast track it through the New Lane University online for my liberal arts degree, so that I can just start working on this project. Because once I have finished the first field experience with the American Red Cross, I believe that bridging international humanitarian law courses and advanced first aid is going to be the next step for me to be eligible to be a volunteer in Palestine. But also what's going to help me a lot is if I learn the language, which is going to give me an edge. So I feel like because of my fluency in Spanish and English and my adaptability to learning Portuguese, Nepali, and Sanskrit just from studying studying the Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures that I read, I think that I'll be able to learn Arabic pretty well, which is going to be a huge, maybe even Hebrew a little bit, just enough for conversation. I think that learning the languages will be how I'm able to get more of an edge at my age for working in a site like that for the first time. So that's a little bit about what I wanted to tell you guys. The Grand Initiative. The Grand Initiative is something I was inspired by in Guatemala in 2017 when I was visiting my family in Coatepeque and I saw all of the plastic trash. I realized there was a really serious issue, but that the people could be given incentives. And so incentives are what give people the motivation to pick up an initiative. To have the motivation to do something, you have to have an incentive. You have to have a what's in it for me. Most people are like that. Most people are like, what's in it for me? And that's normal. So what I am proposing is that through grant writing and charity fundraising, nonprofits such as myself reach out to federal governments to receive grants in order to do cleanup projects and help provide infrastructure through university collaborations and exchange student programs. So there's a little bit, boom, I'm gonna throw that your way. Also, if you're a UHD student, one thing I'm also still interested in working, speaking of college collaborations, is working with the Latino Studies Department at the University of Houston downtown and raising $3,000 to have Mr. Juan Gonzalez, Professor Juan Gonzalez, come from the University of Chicago to speak at our university for the Latino Studies Department, because as you guys know, if you're taking that course or if you've taken that course before, you have to read Juan Gonzalez's The Harvest of Empire. So that book is amazing. Also, Juan Gonzalez is the co-anchor for Democracy Now!, which has been one of the leading news outlets in the United States that has been covering international news, and it is completely free to the public. So with all that being said, those are some of my affiliations, some of my goals moving forward, and it's just every single day finding the motivation and the strength to do a little bit to move my plan forward. If not, it's just a plan and it's just a dream. And dreams are great to inspire people, but you gotta walk the talk. You gotta put the actions behind what you say and what you believe in to make it happen. So captains out there, ladies and gentlemen, have a beautiful day and good luck on whatever dreams and goals that you are manifesting. Bye. Paco, say bye. Ciao. Ciao.